Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to share a profound truth, a secret that has the power to transform your entire existence. The topic of our discussion is don't react, cut them off silently. And I assure you this principle holds within it the very essence of creation itself. Now, you might be wondering, what does it mean to cut them off silently? Who are they? And why should we not react? My dear friends, they're not external entities or individuals, but rather the old states of consciousness that no longer serve your higher self. The reactive patterns, the habitual thoughts, the limiting beliefs, these are what we must cut off, and we must do so silently, within the sanctum of our own imagination. You see, the world you experience is nothing more than an outpicturing of your consciousness. Every person, every circumstance, every event in your life is a reflection of your inner state. When you react to these external manifestations, you are giving power to the very state you wish to transcend. You are, in essence, watering the seeds of what you do not want to grow. But when you cut them off silently, when you refuse to engage with these old patterns, you are withdrawing your attention and thus your creative power from them. Remember, attention is the currency of your mind. Where you place your attention, there flows the energy of creation. Let me illustrate this with a simple example. Imagine you are in a situation that would typically provoke a reaction of anger or frustration. Perhaps someone has criticized you unfairly, or you've faced an unexpected setback. The old you might have lashed out, defended yourself vehemently, or fallen into despair. But the new you, the you that understands the power of imagination, does something entirely different. Instead of reacting, you paused. You recognize that this external event is merely shadow, a reflection of an old state of consciousness. And in that moment of recognition, you make a choice. You choose to cut off that old state silently. You turn your attention away from the seeming reality of the external world and towards the only true reality, the reality of your imagination. In your imagination, you see yourself as you wish to be. Calm, confident, unaffected by external circumstances. You feel the naturalness of this state. And as you dwell in this new state, as you make it alive within you, you are literally transforming your world from the inside out. This, my friends, is the true meaning of don't react. Cut them off silently. It is not a passive act of suppression, but rather an active, creative process of choosing a new state of being. It is the art of conscious assumption, the practice of embodying the state of the wish fulfilled. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, isn't this just ignoring reality? Isn't it irresponsible to not react to the challenges and problems in our lives? And to this, I say, what you call reality is nothing more than fruit of past assumptions. It is the harvest of seeds planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. When you react to it, you are simply planting more seeds of the same kind. But when you cut off these reactions silently, when you shift your attention to the desired state, you are planting new seeds. You are choosing a new assumption and thus creating a new reality. This is not irresponsible. It is the highest responsibility you can take. For you are the operant power in your world. And by consciously choosing your state of being, you are consciously creating your world. Let us delve deeper into this principle. When I say don't react, I am not advocating for a life of inaction or passivity. Far from it. I'm calling you to the most profound action possible. The action of consciously assuming the state of your wish fulfilled. This action takes place not in the outer world, but in the inner world of your imagination. You see, most people live their lives backwards. They look to the outside world for causes, for reasons to feel or behave in certain ways. They're constantly reacting to what they perceive as external stimuli. But the truth, the great secret of life, is that the outer world is not the cause, but the effect. Your consciousness is the only cause there is. When you truly understand this, when you internalize this truth, you will see the folly of reacting to external circumstances. It's like arguing with your own shadow. Instead, you will learn to direct your attention, your consciousness towards the state you wish to embody. And as you dwell in this state, as you make it alive within you, the outer world has no choice. This is what it means to cut them off silently. You are severing the connection between external stimuli and your internal state. You are reclaiming your power as the creator of your reality. And you do this not through force or struggle, but silently in the quiet of your own imagination. Imagine for a moment that you are an actor on a stage. The circumstances of your life are the script you've been given. Now, most people feel bound by this script. They react to every line, every stage direction, believing they have no choice. But you, my dear friends, you understand the power of imagination. You know better. You know that you can step off that stage at any moment. You can walk into the wings, into the dressing room of your imagination, and put on a new costume. You can assume a new role, a new state of being. And when you return to the stage, fully embodying this new state, the entire play changes around you. This is the magic, the miracle of consciousness. This is the power you hold within you. And it all begins with that simple yet profound choice. Don't react. Cut them off silently. Now let's explore how this principle applies in your daily life. Perhaps you're in a job that no longer satisfies you. The old you might have reacted with frustration, complaining about your circumstances, feeling trapped and powerless. But the new you, the you that understands the power of imagination, instead of reacting to the unwanted circumstances, you cut them off silently. You withdraw your attention from the current job and all its associated frustrations. Instead, you turn your attention to the job you desire. In your imagination, you see yourself in that new position. You feel the satisfaction of doing work you love. You experience the joy of using your talents fully. Here's the crucial part. You dwell in this state. You make it so alive, so real in your imagination that it feels more present, more tangible than your current circumstances. You live from this new assumption, this new state of being. What happens next might seem like magic to those who don't understand the law of consciousness. Opportunities begin to appear. The right people come into your life. Circumstances align in ways you couldn't have planned. And before long, you find yourself in that very job you imagined, wondering how it all happened so seamlessly. But you know that it was your choice to not react, to cut off the old state silently, and to assume the new state that created this new reality. You have witnessed firsthand the creative power of your consciousness. Let's take another example. Perhaps you're in a relationship that's filled with conflict. The old you might have reacted to every perceived slight, every disagreement. You might have engaged in arguments trying to prove your point or change the other person. But the new you, the you that understands the power of imagination, chooses a different path. Instead of reacting to the conflict, you cut it off silently. You withdraw your attention from the problems, the disagreements, the tensions. Instead, you turn your attention to the relationship you desire. In your imagination, you see yourself in a harmonious, loving relationship. You feel the warmth of mutual understanding, the joy of deep connection. Again, you dwell in this state. You make it so real in your imagination that it becomes more vivid, more present in the current circumstances. You live from this new assumption, this new state of being. And once again, what follows might seem miraculous. The dynamics of the relationship begin to shift. Your partner seems to change, becoming more understanding, more loving. The conflicts that once seemed insurmountable begin to dissolve. And you find yourself in the very relationship. You imagine marveling at the transformation. But you understand. You know that it wasn't your partner who changed, but you. By choosing not to react, by cutting off the old state silently, and by assuming the new state, you transformed your world from within. This, my dear friends, is the power you hold within you. This is the creative force of your consciousness. And it is available to you in every moment, in every area of your life. Now, some of you might be wondering, but Neville, what about when things go wrong? What about when we face real challenges or tragedies? And to this I say, they're not real tragedies, not real challenges outside of your assumption of them as such. What you perceive as a tragedy or a challenge is simply an opportunity to exercise your power, of assumption. When faced with what appears to be a difficult situation, remember, don't react, cut them off silently. Don't give power to the appearance by reacting to it. Instead, withdraw your attention from the seeming problem. Turn within to your imagination and assume the state of the solution already realized. If you're facing financial difficulties, don't react with fear or worry. Cut off those states silently. Instead, assume the state of financial abundance. Feel the relief, the security, the freedom that comes with financial well-being. Make this state so real in your imagination that it supersedes the current appearance of lack. If you're dealing with health issues, don't react with anxiety or despair. Cut off those states silently. Instead, assume the state of perfect health. Feel the vitality coursing through your body. Experience the joy of vibrant wealth. Dwell in this state until it becomes more real to you than any physical symptom. Remember, the outer world is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your inner assumptions. By refusing to react to its appearances and instead consciously choosing your state of being, you are exercising your divine creative power. You are fulfilling your role as the operant power in your universe. Now, I want to address a common misconception. When I say don't react, cut them off silently, I'm not advocating for a life of emotional suppression or denial. This principle is not about ignoring your feelings or pretending that challenges don't exist. Rather, it's about recognizing the true source of your feelings and experiences and consciously choosing the state from which you wish to operate. You see, your emotions are not caused by external circumstances. They are the result of your state of consciousness, your assumptions about reality. When you react emotionally to external events, you are unconsciously accepting those events as causes of your internal state. But when you understand that your consciousness is the only cause, you liberate yourself from this reactive pattern. Instead of reacting, you observe. You witness your emotions without identifying with them. And in that space of awareness, you make a choice. You choose the state you wish to embody, regardless of external appearances. This is what it means to cut them off silently. You are severing the assumed connection between external events and your internal state. This practice requires vigilance and persistence. The habits of reaction are deeply ingrained, reinforced by years of unconscious living. But with consistent practice, you will find yourself naturally assuming the state of your wish fulfilled, regardless of external circumstances. Imagine for a moment that you are standing before a mirror. The reflection you see is your current life circumstances. Now, if you don't like what you see, what do? You argue with the reflection. Do you try to change it directly? Of course not. You understand that to change the reflection, you must change yourself. This is precisely how you should approach your life. Your external world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. When you don't like what you see, don't react to it. Don't try to change it directly. Instead, turn within. Change your assumption, your state of being. And watch as the reflection, your outer world, changes to match your new inner state. This, my friends, is the art of living creatively. It is the practice of conscious manifestation. And it all begins with that simple yet profound choice. Don't react, cut them off silently. Now let's discuss how to implement this principle in your daily life. The key is to cultivate a state of awareness, a witnessing consciousness that observes your thoughts, feelings, and reactions without getting caught up in them. This awareness creates a space, a pause between stimulus and response, and in that space lies your power to choose. When you notice yourself beginning to react to a person or situation, pause. Take a deep breath. Remember that what you're seeing is not the cause of your reaction, but the effect of your past assumptions. In that moment of recognition, you have the power to cut off the old state silently. How do you do this? By turning your attention away from the external situation and towards your desired state of being. Ask yourself, how would I feel if my desire were already fulfilled? What would my inner state be if I were already the person I wish to be? Then Using the power of your imagination, step into that state. Feel it. Experience it as vividly as you can. Make it more real to you than the current circumstances. This is not mere visualization or positive thinking. This is the active assumption of the state of your wish fulfilled. As you practice this, you'll find that your reactions to external events begin to change naturally. What once provoked anger or fear now passes by without affecting your inner state. You become less reactive and more creative, less a victim of circumstances, and more the conscious author of your life. Remember, the outer world has no power over you, except the power you give it through your attention and assumption. When you withdraw your attention from unwanted circumstances and place it firmly on your desired state, you are literally shifting the foundations of your reality. This practice may seem challenging, but first, especially when faced with deeply ingrained patterns or particularly difficult circumstances, remember that every time you choose not to react, every time you cut off an old state silently and assume a new one, you are exercising your creative power. You are reshaping your world from within. Consider for a moment the immense implications of this principle. If your consciousness is the only cause, if your assumptions create your reality, then there are truly no limitations to what you can be, do, or have. The only constraints are those you accept in your own mind. When you fully embrace this truth, when you consistently practice the art of not reacting and consciously assuming your desired state, you step into your true power as a creative being. You become the conscious author of your life story. No longer a passive reader reacting to every plot twist, but the writer, director, and star of your own magnificent production. Imagine living from this state of empowerment. Imagine moving through your days with the unshakable knowing that you are the creator of your reality. How would you approach challenges? How would you interact with others? How would you pursue your dreams and aspirations? You would no longer be swayed by external circumstances. You would no longer be at the mercy of other people's opinions or actions. You would stand firm in your own creative power, consistently choosing the state from which you wish to operate, regardless of appearances. This, my dear friends, is true freedom. It is the liberation that comes from recognizing and embracing your divine nature as a creative being. And it all begins with that simple yet profound choice. Don't react. Cut them off silently. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to emphasize a crucial point. The principle we've explored today, don't react, cut them off silently, is not merely a technique for achieving your desires or improving your life circumstances. While it certainly leads to these outcomes, its true significance is far greater. This principle is nothing less than the key to awakening to your true nature. It is the path to realizing your oneness with the creative power of the universe. For when you consistently practice not reacting to external stimuli, and instead consciously choosing your state of being, you are aligning yourself with the fundamental creative principle of existence. You see, in the ultimate reality, there is no separation between you and the creative power you call God. Your consciousness, your I am, is that very power individualized as you. When you react to external circumstances, you are temporarily forgetting this truth. You are seeing yourself as separate from the creative power, as a victim of external forces. But when you cut off these reactions silently, when you consciously choose your state of being regardless of appearances, you are acknowledging and embodying your true nature as the operant power in your world. You are saying, in essence, I am the creator of my reality. This is why this principle is so transformative. It's not just about getting what you want in life, although that certainly happens. It's about awakening to who you truly are. It's about stepping into your divine inheritance as a creative being. As you practice this principle, as you consistently choose not to react, but to assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself undergoing a profound transformation. You will begin to see the world differently. You will recognize the creative power of your consciousness at work in every aspect of your life. You will see that every person, every circumstance, every event in your life is a reflection of your own consciousness. And with this recognition comes an immense sense of freedom and empowerment. For if your consciousness creates your reality, then by changing your consciousness, you can change your entire world. This, my friends, is the promise and the challenge that lies before you. The promise of limitless creative power, of the ability to shape your reality according to your highest vision, and the challenge of consistently remembering and embodying this truth, of refusing to be swayed by appearances and instead standing firm in the knowledge of your creative power. As you leave here today, I urge you to take this principle into your daily life. Practice it diligently. When you find yourself beginning to react to a person or situation, pause. Remember that what you're seeing is not the cause, but the effect of your consciousness.
Consider for a moment the nature of time. We often perceive it as linear past, present, future. But I tell you now, this is the greatest illusion. Time exists only in the eternal now. And it is in the now that you have the power to shape your reality. Your past, with all its joys and sorrows, triumphs and failures, exists only in your imagination. It has no power over you except that which you give it. The memories you replay, the emotions you relive, these are not fixed realities, but states of consciousness you choose to occupy. To truly move on and let go of your past, you must first understand that you are not a victim of your history, but the creator of your now. Every moment is a fresh opportunity to choose anew, to reimagine yourself and your world. The key to leaving your past in the past lies in your wonderful human imagination. It is not about forgetting or denying what has been, but about reinterpreting it in a way that serves your highest good. Imagine, if you will, your past as a grand play. You have been both the playwright and the lead actor. But now you realize you can rewrite the script. You can assign new meanings to old events, extract wisdom from challenges, and release yourself from the grip of outdated narratives. This process of revision is not about changing the facts of what occurred, but about changing your perception of those events. As you do this, you'll find that your present reality begins to shift. For your outer world is but a reflection of your inner states of consciousness. To move on is not to run from your past, but to stand firmly in your power as the operant power in your life. It is to declare, I am not bound by what was. I am free to create what will be. Let go of the need to justify your past actions or to seek closure from others. True closure comes from within. It comes from the realization that you are complete and whole in this moment, regardless of what came before. As you embark on this journey of letting go, you may encounter resistance. All thought patterns and emotional habits may try to pull you back. But remember, these two are just states of consciousness. You have the power to step out of them at any moment. Treat these old states as you would an old garment that no longer fits. Observe them with detachment, thank them for the role they played, and then gently set them aside. You are not rejecting your past. You are simply choosing not to carry it with you in new life. The practice of letting go is not a one-time event, but a continuous choice. Each day, each moment, you have the opportunity to release what no longer serves you and to embrace the infinite possibilities of the now. As you do this, you'll find that your energy shifts, the weight of the past lifts, and you become more fully present in the now. This presence is the key to creating the life you desire. For in this now moment, you have access to all the power of creation. You are one with the divine creative force that shapes universes. As you align with this power, you'll find that moving forward becomes effortless. But remember, movement is not always physical. True movement happens in consciousness. You can be in the same physical space, surrounded by the same people, and yet be in an entirely new state of being. This is the essence of leaving your past in the past. It's not about changing your external circumstances, but about changing your inner world. As you do this, you'll find that your outer world naturally begins to reflect your new state of consciousness. Imagine for a moment that your desired state, one of freedom, joy, and limitless potential, is a frequency. To tune into this frequency, you must first release your attachment to lower frequencies of past regrets, resentments, and limitations. This release is not about suppression or denial. It's about transcendence. It's about rising above the old stories and limiting beliefs to embrace a higher truth about yourself and your life. As you practice this, you may find that memories of past events lose their emotional charge. They become neutral data, experiences that have contributed to your growth but no longer define you or limit your potential. This is the true meaning of forgiveness, not a pardoning of perceived wrongs, but a complete release of the past. It's a recognition that in the eternal now, there is nothing to forgive. There is only the choice of which state of consciousness to occupy. Now, some of you may be thinking, but what about the lessons of the past? Aren't they valuable? Indeed, they are. But I tell you this, the lesson is never in the event itself, but in the meaning you assign to it. As you shift your consciousness, you'll find that you can extract the wisdom from past experiences without remaining attached to the events themselves. This is the alchemy of consciousness, turning the lead of past difficulties into the gold of present wisdom. Remember, your aim is not to erase your past, but to transform your relationship with it, to see it not as a determinant of your future, but as the rich soil from which your new life can grow. As you practice leaving your past in the past, you may notice that your perception of time itself begins to shift. The past, present, future collapse into the eternal now, and in this now all things are possible. In this state of heightened awareness, you'll find that you no longer need to push against your past or struggle to move forward. Movement happens naturally as you align yourself with the state of consciousness that corresponds to your desires. Imagine that your life is a grand tapestry. Up until now, you've been focused on a few threads, the events and circumstances of your past. But as you step back, you begin to see the larger pattern. You realize that every thread, every experience has contributed to the beautiful whole. From this perspective, there is nothing to regret, nothing to fear, nothing to overcome. There is only the recognition of the perfection of the entire tapestry and the excitement of weaving new patterns into it. This shift in perspective is the key to true freedom. It's the realization that you are not bound by your past, but liberated by your ability to choose your focus in each moment. As you embrace this truth, you'll find that the energy once spent on reliving past events or worrying about future outcomes is now available for creating your desired reality in the present moment. This creative energy is the essence of life itself. It's the force that brings worlds into being, and it flows through you in every moment. As you release your attachment to the past, you open yourself fully to this creative flow. Imagine this energy as a river. In the past, it may have been dammed up by old beliefs, regrets, and resentments. But as you let go, the dam breaks and the full force of your creative power is released. This release may feel overwhelming at first. You may feel vulnerable, exposed. But I tell you this vulnerability is your greatest strength. It's the open door through which your new life enters. As you stand in this place of openness, of infinite potential, you may find yourself asking, who am I without my past? Without my old stories and identities? This, my dear friends, is the most exciting question of all. For in this moment of questioning, you stand at the threshold of infinite possibilities. You are free to choose anew, to define yourself not by what was, but by what you choose to be now. This is the essence of leaving your past in the past. It's not about reaching a destination, but about embracing a new way of being. It's about living from the state of the wish fulfilled rather than from the memory of what has been. As you practice this, you may find that your entire perception of reality begins to shift. What once seemed solid and unchangeable now appears fluid and responsive to your consciousness. You begin to see that every person, every circumstance in your life is a reflection of your state of being. As you change your state, your world changes with you. This realization brings with it a profound sense of responsibility. For if your world is a reflection of your consciousness, then the key to changing your world lies in changing yourself. But this responsibility is not a burden. It's the key to your freedom. For if you have the power to create your reality through your consciousness, then you are truly free to create any reality you desire. As you embrace this freedom, you may find that your desire to change or fix the past naturally falls away. For in the light of your new understanding, you see that there is nothing to fix, nothing to change. There is only the eternal now and the choice of which state to occupy. This doesn't mean that you forget your past or deny its influence. Rather, you choose to see it through new eyes. You see it as the perfect unfolding that has led you to this moment of awakening. From this perspective, every experience, every challenge, every perceived failure was a stepping stone, leading you to this realization of your true power. As you embrace this truth, you'll find that gratitude naturally arises. Gratitude not just for the good times, but for every experience that has shaped you. For you now see that it has all been in service of your awakening. This gratitude is a powerful force. It aligns you with the frequency of abundance and opens you to receive more of life's blessings. As you cultivate this attitude of gratitude, you'll find that your attachment to past grievances naturally dissolves. Remember, the goal is not to achieve a perfect state where you never think of the past. The goal is to reach a state where thoughts of the past no longer have the power to pull you out of your chosen state of consciousness. As you practice this, you may find that memories of the past begin to lose their emotional charge. They become like scenes from a movie. You can observe them without being drawn into them. This detachment is not cold or unfeeling. Rather, it's a higher form of engagement with life. It's the ability to be fully present with whatever arises without being consumed by it. As you master this art of conscious detachment, you'll find that you're able to engage more fully with life. For when you're no longer weighed down by the past, you're free to give your full attention and energy to the present moment. This presence is the key to creating the life you desire. For it's only in the present moment that you have the power to choose to create, to become. As you deepen into this practice, you may find that your sense of identity begins to shift. You no longer define yourself by your past experiences or accomplishments. Instead, you recognize yourself as the awareness in which all experiences arise. This shift in identity is profound. It's the realization that you are not your thoughts, your emotions, or your experiences. You are the consciousness that observes and experiences all of these. From this place of expanded awareness, you're able to choose consciously which thoughts to entertain, which emotions to cultivate, which states of being to occupy. This is the true meaning of free will. It's not the ability to control external circumstances, but the power to choose your internal state, regardless of circumstances. As you exercise this power, you'll find that your external world begins to shift to match your internal state. This is the law of assumption in action. What you assume to be true in your inner world becomes manifested in your outer world. But remember, this manifestation is not always instant or linear. Just as a seed takes time to grow into a tree, your new assumptions take time to fully manifest in your reality. During this period of gestation, it's crucial to maintain your faith. Faith not in an external power, but in the truth of your own divine nature. Faith in the principle that your consciousness creates your reality. This faith is not blind belief. It's a knowing that comes from your own experience of the law in action. As you practice living from your desired state, you'll accumulate evidence of its effectiveness. Each small manifestation becomes a stepping stone to greater ones. Each synchronicity, each coincidence that aligns with your desires strengthens your faith and amplifies your creative power. As your faith grows, you'll find that letting go of the past becomes effortless. For why would you cling to old limiting stories when you're actively creating a new empowering reality? This is the beauty of living in the state of the wish fulfilled. When you're fully immersed in the consciousness of your desire achieved, there's no room for doubt, regret, or attachment to past limitations. In this state, you naturally release anything that doesn't align with your new self-concept. Old habits, relationships, and circumstances that no longer serve you will fall away effortlessly. This release is not about rejecting or fighting against what was. It's about aligning so completely with your new state that anything not in harmony with it naturally drops away. As you practice this, you may find that your entire approach to life shifts. Instead of trying to make things happen, you allow them to unfold naturally from your state of being. This is the difference between forcing and allowing, between struggle and ease. When you're aligned with your desired state, life flows effortlessly. Opportunities appear, doors open, and synchronicities abound. But remember, this ease doesn't mean inaction. It means inspired action, action that flows naturally from your state of being rather than from a place of lack or struggle. As you align more fully with your desired state, you may find that your goals themselves begin to shift. What once seemed important may fall away, replaced by deeper, more meaningful aspirations. This too is part of the process of leaving your past in the past. As you release old identities and limitations, you open yourself to new possibilities, new ways of being, one contributing to the world. You may discover passions and talents you never knew you had. You may feel called to pursue paths you never considered before. This is the natural result of aligning with your true self, free from the constraints of past conditioning. As you embrace these new aspects of yourself, you may feel a sense of rebirth, of starting anew, and in a very real sense you are. For each moment is an opportunity for rebirth, for choosing again who you want to be. This constant renewal is the essence of living in the eternal now. Is to recognize that your past does not determine your future unless you choose to carry it with you. So I invite you now to make a bold declaration. Declare to yourself and to the universe, I am free. I am not bound by my past. I choose in this moment who I am and who I will become. Feel the power of this declaration. Let it resonate in every cell of your being. For in this declaration, you are claiming your divine birthright as a creator of your reality. As you embark on this journey of leaving your past in the past, remember that you are not alone. The entire universe conspires to support you in your growth and evolution. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you encounter, is an opportunity to practice this new way of being, to choose again your state of consciousness, to reaffirm your commitment to living from the state of the wish fulfilled. And as you persist in this practice, you'll find that what once seemed difficult becomes effortless. What once triggered you no longer has any power over you. You become the master of your own consciousness, and therefore the master of your own destiny. This mastery is your true inheritance. It's the power that has been within you all along, waiting to be recognized and claimed. So claim it now. Step fully into your power as the creator of your reality. Let go of the past not through force or struggle, but through the gentle yet powerful shift of your attention to the reality you choose to create. Remember, the past has no power over you except that which you give it. In each moment, you have the power to choose anew, to focus your attention on what you want to create rather than what has been. As you practice this, you may find that your entire perception of time shifts. past, present, and future collapse into the eternal now. And in this now, all things are possible. From this expanded perspective, you see that your past was never a limitation, but a preparation. Every experience, every challenge, every perceived failure was leading you to this moment of awakening. And now that you've awakened to your true power, what will you create? What reality will you choose to occupy? The choice is yours, and the power to manifest it lies within you. So go forth with confidence, with faith, with the unshakable knowing that you are the author of your own story. Write a new chapter unburdened by the past, filled with the infinite possibilities of the eternal now. For in this now you are free. In this now you are powerful. In this now you are the creator of your own magnificent reality. Embrace this truth. Live from it. And watch as your world transforms to match the grandeur of your own divine imagination. As we embark on this exploration together, I want you to remember that everything, yes, everything in your world is a reflection of your consciousness. The experiences you encounter, the people you meet, and the circumstances you face are all projections of your inner state. With this fundamental truth in mind, let us delve into the ways in which kindness, when misunderstood or misapplied, can indeed ruin your life, not in the conventional sense, but in a way that will ultimately lead to your transformation and awakening. Let us begin with the first way. Kindness, when stemming from a place of lack or unworthiness, can ruin your life by perpetuating a false self-image. Now, my dear friends, understand that true kindness is a natural expression of your divine nature. It flows effortlessly from a state of abundance, love, and self-worth. However, many of us have been conditioned to believe that we must be kind in order to be worthy of love, acceptance, or success. We use kindness as a means to fill a perceived void within ourselves. This kind of kindness, let's call it conditional kindness, is not really kindness at all. It is a mask we wear, a performance we put on in hopes of gaining approval, avoiding rejection. When we act from this place, we are not being true to ourselves. We are living in a state of lack, constantly seeking external validation to feel complete. But remember, you are already complete. You are already whole. You are a perfect expression of the divine, lacking nothing. When you perform acts of kindness from this state of lack, you are affirming to the universe that you are incomplete, that you need something outside of yourself to be worthy. And the universe, being the perfect mirror that it is, will continue to reflect this belief back to you. To truly understand this, we must revisit the law of assumption. Whatever you assume to be true, whatever state you occupy in your imagination, must be made manifest in your outer world. If you assume that you need to be kind to be worthy, you will continually find yourself in situations where your worth is questioned, where you feel compelled to prove yourself through acts of kindness. The solution, my friends, is not to cease being kind. Rather, it is to shift your consciousness to a state of completeness, of divine self-worth. From this state, kindness flows naturally, not as a means to an end, but as a joyful expression of your true nature. When you give from your overflow, rather than from a place of lack, you transform not only your own life, but the lives of those around you. Imagine, if you will, that you are a chalice filled to the brim with the purest, most radiant light. This light is your true essence, your divine nature. When you act from this state of fullness, your kindness becomes a natural overflow of this light. It does not deplete you, for you are constantly filled from an infinite source. This is the kindness that transforms, that uplifts, that truly makes a difference in the world. So, my dear listeners, if you find that your acts of kindness are leaving you feeling drained, unappreciated, or somehow less than, pause and examine your state of consciousness. Are you giving from lack or from abundance? Are you seeking to fill a void or expressing your innate completeness? Remember, the outer world is but a reflection of your inner state. Change your concept of self, and you change your world. Now, let us move on to the second way in which kindness, when misunderstood, can ruin your life. Kindness, when used as a means of avoiding conflict or suppressing your true feelings, can lead to a life of quiet desperation and unfulfillment. Many of us have been taught that being kind means always putting others first, never saying no, and avoiding any form of conflict. We smile and nod when we want to scream. We agree when we desperately want to disagree. We say yes when every fiber of our being is crying out to say no. This, my friends, is not kindness. This is self-betrayal masked as virtue. True kindness, rooted in self-love and authenticity, sometimes requires us to set boundaries, to speak our truth, even when it may cause temporary discomfort. When we consistently suppress our true feelings and desires in the name of being kind, we are denying our own divine nature. We are telling the universe that our needs, our desires, our very essence is less important than maintaining a facade of harmony. But remember, you are here to be fully, gloriously, unabashedly you. You are a unique expression of the divine with your own desires, your own path, your own purpose. When you consistently deny this in the name of misguided kindness, you are not only doing yourself a disservice, but you are denying the world the gift of your authentic self. Imagine, if you will, a beautiful instrument, perhaps a violin of the finest craftsmanship. This violin was created to produce the most exquisite music. But what if, in the name of kindness, this violin never allowed itself to be played? What if it remained silent, fearing that its music might disturb others or create conflict? The world would be robbed of its beautiful melodies, and the violin would never fulfill its purpose. You, my dear friends, are like this violin. You have within you a unique song, a divine melody that only you can play. When you silence yourself in the name of misguided kindness, you deny the world your music. You deny yourself the joy of full self-expression. So how do we remedy this? The answer lies, as always, in our consciousness. We must shift our concept of kindness from one of self-denial to one of authentic self-expression. True kindness includes kindness to oneself. It includes honoring your own needs, speaking your truth, and allowing yourself to be fully seen and heard. This doesn't mean becoming selfish or inconsiderate of others. Rather, it means finding a balance between honoring yourself and considering others. It means recognizing that your needs and feelings are just as valid and important as anyone else's. It means understanding that by being true to yourself, you give others permission to do the same. When you operate from this state of authentic kindness, you'll find that your relationships become deeper, more genuine. You'll attract people who appreciate and respect the real you, not just the agreeable facade you've been presenting. You'll find yourself in situations that truly align with your desires and values, rather than those you've reluctantly agreed to out of a misplaced sense of obligation. Remember, the world doesn't need another martyr. The world needs you, the real, authentic, fully expressed you. That is the greatest kindness you can offer. Now let us explore the third way in which kindness, when misapplied, can ruin your life. Kindness, when used as a means of controlling outcomes or manipulating others, can lead to disappointment, resentment, and a distorted view of relationships. Many of us, consciously or unconsciously, use kindness as a sort of cosmic bargaining chip. We believe that if we are kind enough, giving enough, selfless enough, the universe or the people in our lives will reward us with what we desire. We give with the expectation of receiving. We are kind with the hope that this kindness will be returned. In essence, we are trying to control the behavior of others and the outcomes in our lives through our acts of kindness. But my dear friends, this is not how the universe operates. The law of assumption tells us that it is not our actions but our state of consciousness that creates our reality. When we give with the expectation of receiving, we are operating from a state of lack. We are assuming that we need to manipulate external circumstances to get what we want, rather than assuming the state of already having our desire fulfilled. This kind of conditional kindness often leads to disappointment and resentment. Where our kindness is not reciprocated in the way we expect, we feel cheated, unappreciated. We may even become bitter, thinking, after all I've done for them, this is how they treat me. But in reality, we were never truly giving. We were engaging in a transaction with kindness as our currency. True kindness, my friends, comes with no strings attached. It is not a means to an end, but an end in itself. It is a natural expression of our divine nature, flowing from a state of abundance and love. When we give from this state, we do so joyfully, with no expectation of return. We give because giving is its own reward. Imagine, if you will, a beautiful rose bush in full bloom. Does the rose demand anything in return for its beauty? Does it withhold its fragrance from those who do not appreciate it enough? No, the rose simply is. It blooms because that is its nature. Its beauty and fragrance are given freely to all who pass by, whether they stop to admire it or not. You, my dear listeners, are like this rose. Your kindness, your love, your divine essence is meant to be expressed freely, not as a means of control or manipulation, but as a natural overflow of who you truly are. To shift from conditional kindness to true unconditional kindness, we must once again turn to our imagination. We must assume the state of already having all that we desire. From this state of completeness, of abundance, kindness flows naturally with no need for reciprocation. Imagine yourself as a being of pure light, radiating love and kindness in all directions. This light doesn't discriminate. It doesn't calculate. It simply shines because that is its nature. From this stage, your kindness becomes a gift to yourself as much as to others. It becomes a joyful expression of your true nature rather than a means to an end? When you operate from this state, you'll find that your relationships transform. You'll no longer feel the need to keep score or expect anything in return for your kindness. You'll be free to give without attachment, to love without condition. And paradoxically, you'll likely find that you receive more than ever before. Not because you're manipulating others through kindness, but because you're aligning yourself with the abundant, giving nature of the universe. Now let us delve into the fourth and final way in which kindness, when misunderstood, can ruin your life. Kindness, when it becomes a fixed identity rather than a fluid expression, can limit your growth and prevent you from fully embodying all aspects of your divine nature. Many of us, in our quest to be good people, latch onto kindness as a primary identity. We pride ourselves on being the kind one, the nice guy, the one who always helps others. While this may seem noble on the surface, it can actually become a cage that limits our full self-expression and prevents us from growing into the multifaceted beings we truly are. You see, my dear friends, you are not just kind. You are not just any one thing. You are a divine, infinite being capable of embodying all states of consciousness. You contain within you the potential for every human quality and experience. When you fixate on kindness as your primary identity, you may inadvertently suppress other aspects of yourself that are equally valid and necessary for your growth and the fulfillment of your purpose. There are times when we need to be firm, when we need to say no, when we need to express anger or disappointment. There are times when we need to be selfish in order to honor our own needs and boundaries. There are times when we need to be competitive, assertive, or even ruthless in pursuit of our goals. All of these states are part of the human experience, and all have their place in a fully lived life. But if we've built our identity around being the kind one, we may find ourselves unable to access these other states when they're needed. We may struggle to stand up for ourselves, to compete effectively, to express our anger in healthy ways. We may find ourselves stuck in situations that no longer serve us because we're afraid that leaving or saying no would be unkind. Remember, my friends, that consciousness is fluid. It is ever-changing, ever-evolving. Your true identity is not any fixed state or quality, but the awareness that can embody all states. You are the actor who can play any role, the artist who can paint with all colors. To truly understand this, we must once again turn to the power of imagination. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself as a vast, clear sky. In this sky, various clouds form and dissipate, clouds of kindness, clouds of anger, clouds of joy, clouds of sadness. Notice how the sky remains unchanged, unaffected by the clouds that pass through it. It doesn't cling to the gentle, wispy clouds and reject the dark, stormy ones. It simply allows all clouds to form and pass. You are this sky. Your true self, your I am, is this vast, unchanging awareness. Kindness, like all states, is simply a cloud passing through you. It is an expression of you, but it is not you. When you truly understand and embody this truth, you free yourself from the limitations of any fixed identity. You become able to express kindness when kindness is called for, firmness when firmness is needed, anger when anger is appropriate. You become fluid, adaptable, able to meet each moment with exactly what's required. This doesn't mean that kindness becomes less important or less valuable. On the contrary, when kindness is no longer a fixed identity but a chosen expression, it becomes more genuine, more powerful. It becomes a conscious choice rather than a compulsive behavior or a means of maintaining an image. Imagine, if you will, a skilled martial artist. This martial artist is capable of great power and even violence when necessary. But it is precisely because they have cultivated this power that they can also choose gentleness. Their kindness is not born of weakness or fear, but of strength and conscious choice. You, my dear listeners, are like this martial artist. By embracing all aspects of your being, by allowing yourself to embody all states, you actually enhance your capacity for true kindness. You become kind not because you must, not because it's your only option, but because you choose to be in each moment. So how do we put this into practice? How do we free ourselves from the limitations of kindness as a fixed identity while still embracing kindness itself is a mere beautiful expression of our divine nature? The key, as always, lies in our imagination. Begin by imagining yourself as that vast, clear sky, allowing all states to pass through you without clinging to any of them. Practice embodying different states in your imagination. Feel what it's like to be kind, then to be firm, then to be angry, then to be joyful. Notice how the awareness behind all these states remain unchanged. In your daily life, start paying attention to the states you embody. Are there situations where you default to kindness out of habit or fear, even when another response might be more appropriate? Practice allowing yourself to respond authentically in each moment, rather than always falling back on kindness as a default. Remember, this is not about rejecting kindness. It's about freeing kindness from the confines of a fixed identity and allowing it to become a fluid, authentic expression of your true self.
As you practice this, you may find that your kindness actually becomes more powerful and genuine. You may find that you're able to set boundaries more effectively, to say no when necessary, to stand up for yourself and others in ways you couldn't before. You may find that you're able to pursue your goals with more determination and focus, knowing that you can be kind and assertive, gentle and strong.
My dear friends, as we come to the end of our exploration of these 4 ways in which kindness, when misunderstood, can ruin your life, I want to emphasize that this is not an indictment of kindness itself. Kindness, in its truest form, is a beautiful expression of our divine nature. It has the power to transform lives, to heal wounds, to bridge divides. What we've been discussing is not kindness itself, but the misunderstandings and misapplications of kindness that can limit us and keep us from fully expressing our true selves. By recognizing and moving beyond these limitations, we actually enhance our capacity for genuine kindness. Let us recap what we've discovered. First, we learned that kindness stemming from a place of lack or unworthiness can perpetuate a false self-image. The solution is to shift our consciousness to a state of completeness and divine self-worth, allowing kindness to flow naturally from our overflow. Second, we explored how kindness used as a means of avoiding conflict or suppressing our true feelings can lead to weak desperation. We learned that true kindness includes kindness to oneself, honoring our own needs and speaking our truth. Third, we discussed how kindness used as a means of controlling outcomes or manipulating others can lead to disappointment and resentment. We discovered that true kindness comes with no strings attached, flowing freely from a state of abundance. Finally, we examined how kindness, when it becomes a fixed identity, can limit our growth and prevent us from fully embodying all aspects of our divine nature. We learned to see ourselves as the vast awareness that can embody all states, including but not limited to kindness. Now, my dear friends, I invite you to take these insights and apply them in your own life. Begin to observe your acts of kindness. Are they coming from a place of lack or abundance? Are you using kindness to avoid conflict or to manipulate outcomes? Have you made kindness a fixed identity that's limiting your full self-expression? As you become aware of these patterns, don't judge yourself. Simply observe. And then, using the power of your wonderful human imagination, begin to shift your consciousness. Imagine yourself as that chalice overflowing with light, giving from your abundance. Imagine yourself speaking your truth with kindness and authenticity. Imagine yourself giving freely, with no expectation of return. Imagine yourself as that vast, clear sky able to embody all states as needed. Remember, you are not here to be just kind. You are here to be fully, gloriously, unabashedly you. You are here to express all aspects of your divine nature. Kindness is a beautiful part of that nature, but it is not the whole of it. As you liberate kindness from misunderstanding and limitation, you'll likely find that your capacity for true kindness actually expands. You'll find yourself able to be kind in ways you never imagined before. Kind to yourself as well as others, kind in your truth-telling as well as your comforting. Kind in your boundaries as well as your giving. This, my friends, is the paradox and the promise of our exploration today. By examining how kindness can ruin your life, we've actually discovered how to enhance and deepen our capacity for genuine kindness. We've uncovered a path to a more authentic, more empowered, more fully expressed life. So go forth from here with this new awareness. Allow kindness to be a fluid, authentic expression of your true self rather than a limitation or a means to an end. Embody the state of already being all that you desire to be, and let your kindness flow naturally from that state of completeness. Remember, you are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness creates your reality. As you shift your consciousness around kindness, you'll find your outer world shifting to match. You'll attract relationships and circumstances that honor your authentic self-acting. You'll find yourself able to give and receive kindness in new and beautiful ways. This is the promise and the invitation I leave you with today. It is the call to step fully into your power as a divine creator, to embody all aspects of your true nature, including but not limited to kindness. It is the opportunity to transform not only your own life, but the lives of all those you touch. For when you express kindness from a place of wholeness, authenticity, and conscious choice, you become a living example of what's possible. You inspire others to do the same. And in this way, one person at a time, we can transform our world. So go forth, my dear friends, and be kind, not because you should, not because you must, but because you choose to from the infinite wellspring of your divine nature. Be kind, and be all else that you are as well. For in embracing the fullness of your being, you fulfill your highest purpose and express your true self. Thank you. And may your journey of self-discovery and authentic expression bring you to the full realization of your divine natures and the complete manifestation of your heart's desires.